Welcome back to the second draft. It's week 4 of the NFL. You haven't missed us. We've missed you. We've been hibernating since last winter. It was a long, good, beer-filled nap. And we're back. We're starting off with Vikings-Rams. I'm going to go Rams. I think the Rams are unstoppable right now.
I'm going to agree. And not because Kirk Cousins, I feel like, was exposed by the Bills, but just because I think the Rams are all in all a better team, even without Aqib Talib, who's now on injured reserve. I think Sam Shields is a fair enough replacement for him. I think the Rams are just on a roll, and I think the Vikings are kind of struggling right now after what happened in Buffalo. So, no, that happened in Minnesota. Ooh, Rams for sure.
Yeah, Rams, I mean, how do you stop Todd Gurley? How do you do anything? The Rams have time to develop weapons like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Like the Vikings obviously had a weird struggle last week. If they come back and win it, I won't be super surprised, but the Rams just look too hot.
Yeah, and that Vikings offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Donald's going to feast.
He's going to have a day.
Yeah.
Next up is Texans-Colts.
Garbage game of the week?
Totally a garbage
Maybe?
game of the week. There are a lot of good matchups this week, and this is a good matchup for being so terrible. Andrew Luck has been struggling. I wanted to go Colts. I don't want to vote for the Texans. I'm just going to say Colts. Let's say Colts.
All right, I'm going to go Texans because right now Andrew Luck he's not the least productive quarterback in the league, but he's certainly the most conservative, to coin the phrase, or not coin the phrase, but straight up jack the phrase from NFL Network. He's got like the shortest like pass length, and like the shortest, like he's just overall, like he doesn't have his confidence back. He doesn't have his mojo back. And that defense, you got Honey Badger, you got J.J. Watt.
True. Good points.
I think it's Texans.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Next up, we've got Bills-Packers in Green Bay. I'm going Green Bay, even though the Bills are coming off a huge win last week against Minnesota.
I think you have to go Packers at home. I think you have to.
Lambeau. They're in Lambeau.
I think the Bills are better than those first few games. The first 2 games kind of illustrated. It's Lambeau. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's, as much as I like Kirk Cousins as a quarterback for the Vikings, Aaron Rodgers is no Kirk Cousins. He's not going to flounder. He's not going to F about. Yeah, it's going to be the Packers.
The Bills look like they're warming up a little bit. They looked terrible the first 2 games. Chris Ivory's actually productive right now in fantasy, but everybody likes to root for Aaron Rodgers, even when he's not gimping on a busted knee.
I don't really like
him. Well, I do when he's on my fantasy roster, so A-Rod, please give me some points. Let's go A-12. Bucks-Bears. This might be my matchup of the week. This might be my game of the week.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, the Buccaneers have been a wild card this whole year. Fitzmagic coming out of nowhere. I kind of like the Buccaneers for this game. I don't know why. I think Khalil Mack's a monster, but I'm going to go Buccaneers. So
I'll tell you what. I've got both the Rams defense and the Bears defense on my fantasy team. I'm going to go with the Rams defense because I'm just terrified of Fitzmagic. He's got Godwin, who's been really good. He's got Deshaun Jackson, who was quiet the last game just because it was such a weird matchup. I think an intimidating matchup against the Steelers. I actually tried to make a trade for Deshaun Jackson this evening. I'm actually kind of glad it didn't go through now that I think about it, because as dangerous as that pass rush is for the Bears, Fitzmagic's just got that ability to just sustain a play, and he's not like Case Keenum where he'll freeze up in the pocket and he'll just take the hit accidentally. He's mobile. He'll keep a play alive. He's playing like a true veteran, like a completely different quarterback. I love the Bears this year. I think they're trying to make a really strong statement. I think they're going to make that statement. I got to go Bucks this game too. All right. Next up, we have Patriots-Dolphins in Gillette. So this is a tough matchup. The Patriots do not look as good as they have in previous years. That said, there's still some magic. There's always some magic in New England. I think they're going to come back a little bit turned up from last week, and they're going to put the hurt on the Dolphins. Dolphins came out flat against the Raiders, which I would have said was an easy win, and I think New England takes this one at home. I think they bounce back as well. I think they're up against a defense. I mean, they got Kiko Alonso, who's just a tackle monster. He's going to make some moves. He's going to make some noise. They're up against a defensive coordinator this time around, though, that does not know the entire playbook. Even though Belichick likes to mix things up, I knew that Matt Patricia was going to have some tricks up his sleeve. He was going to. I was actually shocked that the Patriots did as poorly as they did, but not horribly shocked because Matt Patricia is a really, really good defensive-minded coach, and he knows Tom Brady. But no, it's going to be the Patriots against the Dolphins. That's just how it's going to happen.
And Miami's offense is struggling right now. Their coordinator, I'm missing his name. He cannot figure out how to use Kenyon Drake, who's a talent that they're really missing out on.
Yeah.
Speaking of Patricia, next up we've got Lions Cowboys. Despite that defensive-minded kind of approach to football, I think the Cowboys take this. I think Zeke has a day against that box, and I think that the Cowboys just win. There's not an offensive deep threat against the Lions, but still, I think the Cowboys win.
Cowboys are in a lot of trouble. They don't have Des Bryant, who honestly wasn't a huge factor, but he was still a really good decoy. They don't have Jason Witten, who was always dependable, to move the chains. He's retired, and he's become an okay commentator. Not great. I think I heard him call Juju Smith-Schuster Shoo Smith's sister or some weird stuff like that. I still think it's going to be the Cowboys, though. Matt Patricia's going to have his hands full trying to contain Zeke Elliott. I think Zeke is going to get through more than once.
I hope so.
Probably for at least a score or two. I see it being a low-scoring affair, but I see that defense being able to tackle and get through that Lions defense for sure.
Yeah, I see it being a kind of a slow game too, unless they do some trickery with Tavon Austin. We'll see.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Bengals Falcons.
Falcons
as well. I'm going to go Falcons. I think Cincinnati's pulling out some weird stops or some talent kind of emerging from the Bengals. I really like Tyler Boyd.
The tight end game is solid for the Bengals.
Yeah, it is. And I made a trade offer, speaking of trades, I made a trade offer for Tyler Boyd. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they're going to handle the rest of the season, but the Cincinnati offense is at least trying to show up and do something. They always end up in the middle of the pack,
right?
And no one likes talking about them, but I want to see something a little bit more out of Cincinnati before I start picking them on a regular basis.
Yeah, agreed.
Next up, Jets Jaguars.
Jaguars?
Yeah.
Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Even though they came out flat last week against the Titans of all teams, Titans defense is good, and their team as a whole is underrated because of and overlooking that defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they come out and just stomp on the Jets.
That offense is really solid too. If they can get that running back situation figured out, then get Fournette and Yeldon healthy. Fournette is your starter, but Yeldon is a good change of pace back. Mm-hmm. He's proven himself to not be a great starting running back. But if Fournette needs a breather, and they got receivers too. Jacksonville's kind of going on both sides of the ball, so I think they're going to pull it out. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Eagles-Titans.
Eagles.
Titans
are falling apart. They've got nothing on offense or defense. They're a non-starter this year.
I think this defense is sort of there. I don't know that they're they're nothing to put your money down on.
You're
but
giving them an awful lot of credit. I disagree. I don't think
they were able to put a stop to Jacksonville.
I feel like that was Jacksonville's game to win or lose, though. I feel like that was almost maybe like a trap game. It was like a really weird situation.
If there was a trap game last week, that was the game.
Yeah.
That said, the Titans have absolutely nothing going on offense.
Nope.
Who's their starting quarterback? Who's
the starting
healthy
running back
right now? They have no weapons. Nothing crazy going on in Tennessee. So let's move on to a more exciting game. Browns-Raiders. I'm going to go Browns. It's a tough pick, and I'm going to go Browns. Jordy Nelson came out flying last week for the Raiders, and I think it was a fluke. I hope it isn't because he's on my bench. That said, the Browns look good. They could be a playoff contender if Baker Mayfield can hold down the offense.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm going to go Browns as well.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to add, honestly. Most of these teams are kind of really iffy. I can see either of them being like wild card contenders, honestly, at this point. But I do, as weird as it sounds and weird as it is to say, just to hear myself say it out loud, the Browns are the better, more well-rounded team here.
Never thought you'd say that.
I'm going to need another one of these.
Sure, yeah. They're definitely the better, more well-rounded team. I mean, the Raiders have weapons on offense, and their defense looks like a big hot pile of garbage. But, I mean, what's going to happen? The Browns are exciting. Everybody likes to watch the Browns this year.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I think this will be one of the more exciting games. Last week was an exciting game. Moving on. Next up, we've got the Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals.
Tie
0-0 garbage
Tie.
game. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to go with Seahawks. The Cardinals inevitably win a couple games, and this might be one of the ones that they actually pull out. But I think the Seahawks win this. I think Russell Wilson keeps finding Tyler Lockett somehow, and that's really all there needs to be said outside of the Cardinals can't get anything going with Mike McCoy running DJ between the tackles. So use your weapons as you should. Like, they need to be throwing the ball to DJ, they need to be mixing it up, and they're just not. Larry Fitzgerald has been targeted maybe 10 times this whole season.
It's been terrible.
It's unbelievable.
So the winner in this game is going to be all the advertisers who underpaid for airtime in the commercial breaks. And the losers in this game are going to be the poor, horrible Arizona markets and Seattle markets who have this game as that game airing on their local station. This is going to be bad. Really, really bad.
The winners are the people who are getting really cheaply discounted David Johnson jerseys, and that's it.
Yeah, wait another couple of weeks and get your David Johnson jersey for $49.99 on Amazon. It's gonna happen.
Next up, Saints Giants.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, this is a great matchup.
It's probably not going to be as good. I'm going to go with the Saints just because even though they're not really putting together wins, they're still scoring so many damn points.
The Saints, even if they're not the team that I'm rooting for this year as much as I was last year, they're the team that I'm excited to watch whenever they're on. Drew Brees put in 2 touchdowns on his own last week, 5 total in overtime, pulled it out. Still an incredible team to watch. Mm-hmm. I think the Saints...
Don't do that again, Drew. Give Kamara his touchdown, please. That's not...
Saquon Barkley, though, has been putting up...
True.
He's earned his pay.
Saquon is going to find the end zone at least once or twice this game. Kamara is going to find the end zone 7 times because he's my starting running back in fantasy.
And cross your fingers and get real stoked for Mark Ingram next week.
Ooh, I have him on my squad too because I got him as a steal in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I didn't want him. All right, moving on.
I really did.
49ers Chargers. This is
Chargers, man.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Chargers have much more going on than the 49ers. Jimmy G is down.
Yeah, torn ACL. He's out for the season. CJ beat hard. Bethard. Let's call him beat hard. He's going to get beat hard. Is Bosa back yet?
No, as far as I know.
Okay, so...
He's out. He's been out.
You're going to get beat hard, but you're not going to get knocked out too, CJ. You'll survive this game. But you're not going to survive that Chargers defense in terms of production. Let's give it the Chargers.
Ravens Steelers in Pittsburgh.
That is a dynamite game.
Great game. Might be 3rd game of the week now that we have. How many do we have?
I don't know. There's a lot of games of the week. This is a really solid week.
It is. It's going to be a great week for football.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Steelers. Even though the Ravens put the hurt down on my Denver Broncos last week, unfortunately, I think we beat ourselves. So many penalties, 150 yards worth of penalties. Anyway, the Steelers just look great. No matter what is going down, Roethlisberger can find one of his many targets. He's got Juju. He's got Antonio Brown. They're there. They're just ready. They're going to score points. That's all it really comes down to.
Yeah.
He used Vance McDonald last week. The tight ends are getting some action as well. As long as they can get their pass game going, the Steelers will win.
I think it's going to be the Steelers too. The win against the Broncos, I really thought the Broncos were going to take that early on. There's a lot of factors that played into that, not least of which is the fact that Denver's corners are kind of small. C.J. Harris, in particular, is about the same size as John Brown for the Ravens. He's pretty much becoming their if he's not their wide receiver 1, he's at least a wide receiver 2 if the kid's putting up numbers. He's going to be up against a bigger body defense, and what I saw in his time in Arizona is he's very quick. If he can't burn the cornerback right off the bat and just blow him out and run a fast route and catch the ball when he's wide open, he has trouble because he's so tiny. I think I've got 2 or 3 inches on the kid. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go Steelers, and not least of which because of the whole wide receiver cornerback situation. but also because Ben Roethlisberger is just elusive. He's like a tank that has a stealth mode. It's really, really weird.
Yeah, he can't. He's hard to bring down.
C.J. Mosley's going to be questionable again this week. There's no real clear timetable for him to return. I would say Mosley would be big and fast enough to take Ben down. I don't know if he's actually going to play this week. I think it's just going to be the Steelers. And it's at Heinz Field, right?
Yep.
It's the Steelers.
And here's another factor to consider. I think it's going to be a shootout regardless. The Ravens are 12 for 12 in the red zone. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
When they get there, and Flacco just puts it in.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a high-scoring game. The over-under is going to be a little bit weird for that one. But, I put it with the Steelers, and it's one of my more flaky bets this week. Final game, and one I'm really excited to watch, not just because I'm a Broncos fan, is Chiefs-Broncos. It's what I would consider more of a rivalry game than any of our other games.
For sure.
Even though the Raiders are all in that game was incredible.
Ravens-Steelers.
Sure.
But, yeah, Chiefs and Broncos is probably the strongest rivalry, I think, going on.
They're just, in terms of teams that are somewhat evenly matched, Pat Mahomes is just, incredible right now. The best quarterback in the league, if you ask me, in terms of numbers. But the Broncos are scrappy. They've got a lot going on with running backs right now and just, emerging talent with Philip Lindsay.
If he can stop punching people in scrums and keep them from getting ejected, he's always a strong factor.
He's not hot-headed. He's good, and the defense just looks incredible. So,
yeah,
I want to pick the Broncos. I'm going to pick the Broncos as a homer pick, even though the Chiefs have a good chance of taking this one.
So I'm a Broncos fan as well. I'm going Chiefs. Pat Mahomes is just way too hot. Denver's no-fly zone doesn't really exist anymore. We're going to be really eager to see how Von Miller stacks up against that Chiefs front line.
You've got multiple pass rush, though. The threat is deeper now that you've got Bradley Chubb there. So
True.
And they've been and Wolf's on it, and Bradley Chubb.
You're making a very, very strong argument for Denver. I just see the Chiefs taking this one.
Yeah.
Maybe in a narrow victory. They're just explosive offensively. I see the Broncos defense having to play a lot of catch up and being on the field way too often and being tired out by the end of the game. There's just too much going on. They're just way too fast and too high octane. I see the Chiefs taking it.
Yeah. So that's all the games that are going on this week. Panthers are on a bye, and who else am I missing? There's another team. The Redskins are also on a bye.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens next
Adrian
week.
Peterson needs a rest.
He does.
He's an old man now.
He put in too much work, too many rushing yards last week, which was just like a fantasy nightmare for some folks. That said, let us know what your picks are down below, and we'll catch you next week with another update.
Bye. I love you. I missed you. That was good.